on the inside. This is the moves that makes girls ovulate who are watching this stuff. Right, we got Chris Froome. The news is Chris Froome has left. Is leaving. And I said this a while back, that I said Froome is moving teams. Now it's confirmed. So he will race one last Tour de France, we hope, with Team Sky. This is a Beta Fuel advert. We're just going to do a little voiceover. This is Beta Fuel. It's SIS. This stuff's alright. I like the taste of it. It tastes pretty good. It's vegan. And it's sugar. It's just refined sugar in a packet. And it just endorses what I've been saying all along. That carbs for the win, refined sugars are the best things for your performance and health. Because they feed your cells. Every cell in the body runs on glucose, man. And sucrose is a mixture of fructose and glucose. So if you want to increase your performance, increase your refined sugar intake. And we have Chris Froome here. Let's get into the talk. We'll talk a little bit about carbs afterwards, nutrition and performance. Let's take a breath. Let's calm down. Chris Froome. This is end of an era. This, for me, in my personal opinion, is bad for cycling. I think Chris Froome, this is my little durianrider utopia thing here. I think it would be better if Chris Froome stayed with Team Sky and just, just carried out. But changing teams, Chris Froome is such an icon, isn't he? He's made Team Sky as the rider. And you got DB as the head honcho, and you got Wiggins who sort of started the train rolling in terms of GC. But yeah, Chris Froome, it is sort of sad to see him move along. He's going to be riding factor bikes. Factor bikes. He's going to be riding a factor bike, a Chinese bike. Pinarello's Chinese as well. Factor bikes. What do I think of factor bikes? I think factor bike make a nice looking bike. Rob, is it Gillespie? He does some very good, candid, transparent social media stuff, so a big fan of that. I'm not a fan, though, that, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Chris Froome's going to be riding disc brakes next year. And that's disc brakes as a GC rider. You may as well just give up and call yourself ex-GC rider. Disc brakes slow you down way too much at the top level, okay? Why would Chris Froome need disc brakes? Why would any GC rider need disc brakes? These guys are lunatics on the downhill. I've ridden with Chris Froome a few times, friendly lad, and I've ridden with Team Sky, maybe over 1,000 odd Ks. And all the pro riders, the difference is they don't use brakes very, very much at all, right? That's bottom line. To be a professional cyclist, you have to be willing to have no brakes on your bike, or very, very minimal brakes. So this whole notion that they're putting disc brakes on professional road races is purely marketing nonsense to push bikes to mammals. And I get it. These guys like Chris Froome are pawns for the bike brands. Pinarello, or Cannondale, or Factor, or Giant, or Trek, or whatever. So I get that. This is Chris Froome here attacking. Remember that Giro 2018? Just ripping it up. This is carbohydrate coming into play right here. This is lightweight bikes. Everyone back in the day, 2018, was riding lightweight bikes, but now it's a bit of a mix. Big T on the TCR, another Chinese-made carbon bike. So everyone's riding China bikes these days. I'm riding China bike. Chris Froome's riding China bike. Everyone's riding China bike. You probably are too. Kenny Ellis, look at that. Just Kenny's a climber, and Chris, look at the gap. Look at that gap Chris Froome puts in there. That, my friends, is sugar. Did you listen to the podcast we did with Victor Campanarts? How he was talking about how some of the pro riders don't consume enough sugar early in the stage, in the year rather. They're trying to lose weight or whatever, and Victor was the same. He was just dropping them on his high sugar thing. Isn't that crazy that a GC rider, a pro rider, would be cutting down sugars? That's just like idiocy. Which just goes to show that there's still room for massive improvement in pro cycling in terms of nutrition. Chris Froome going to the Aerotuck, very dangerous. I don't recommend that at all. That's just dumb. It's good showboating, but it's dumb. It's too much to lose. And look what happened to Chris Froome from taking those risks. Took his hands off the bar or hand off the bar. Which one was it? And he got a speed wobble. He got a speed wobble because he had a big disc wheel in the front, and then on his Aero TT bike. Those Aero TT bikes with disc wheels are a pain in the ass to ride because you get a gust of wind, you're going to be crashing or near crashing. And unfortunately, Chris had a really, really, really bad crash. Put him in the hospital, took him out. And there's speculation that it was staged. I don't believe it was staged. I don't believe it. But Chris Froome's so famous in the cycling world that conspiracies sell. Just like there's conspiracies about me online and stuff like that. They sort of sell. There's people that write conspiracies about me, and then you read the end of conspiracy like, donate to my crypto, donate to my PayPal. It's like, get a fucking job, you bum. Get a job. Stop panhandling off the internet, you bum. Anyway, so that's the deal there. So I don't think there's a conspiracy at all. Chris Froome's crash is very unfortunate, and look at that, mate. Just, you know, business as usual. And business as usual is pressure, man. Is pressure. And I think Dave Brailsford is living vicariously through Froome, through Wiggins, and now he's living vicariously through Egan Bernal, who is the next hope for Team Sky. We have Geraint Thomas is also a factor, but I would say Geraint Thomas is going to be, you know, being a bottle boy for Egan Bernal, or a backup player. Egan Bernal seems to be the hot favourite. And that's the sport, you know. It's like you have a use-by date, and it's very cutthroat, and it's very unfortunate. Beta Fuel, proudly unsponsored by Beta Fuel. It's very cutthroat, man. So I guess, you know, and the riders understand that. Look, Chris Froome's seat height looks so low, doesn't it? Devastatingly effective. Midfoot cleat near, high cadence spinning. You know, he rides like a durianrider fanboy, spinning, or a fangirl, just spinning it, you know. And that's why I definitely rate Chris Froome as a cyclist, as an everyday guy. He just, you know, from my brief dealings with him, he's just a down-to-earth dude. You know, like, he's just, and he's Chris Froome, you know, like, he's so unassuming. Going for a lot of adversity in his life to overcome it, stuff like that, and playing the game and getting played right now. It feels like, it feels unfortunate. I think, you know, I think that Chris Froome should be put to pasture. That sounds bad, but put to pasture with Team Sky, as, you know, because he's a face of Sky, isn't he? He's like, he's made Team Sky extra famous. Brad Wiggins definitely started the party, and Chris Froome just drove it home. You know, he drove that train right home. Beta Fuel, Beta Fuel. Here's an old throwback here. This is a classic. I remember this is Richie Porte, Froome, Contador in the yellow. This is the Dauphiné 2014, it looks like. 2015. 2014. Which one is it? 2014. 2014. 2014. And 2015, I reckon. Let's have a look at the bikes. I reckon 2015. Look at the Chris Froome on the front. This is hilarious. So this is look. There's a whole race behind these guys, and look at that. He's just attacking, man. And is that Bardet at the back there, just popped off the back. You know you're doing, yes, Bardet. You know you're doing pretty damn flipping awesome if you're attacking off the front and dropping guys like Romain Bardet like they just pack fill. You know what I mean? Look how skinny Romain Bardet is. Dan Martin just boom, popped off the back. Contador boom, popped off the back with his schoolboy socks. Look at that. You know what I mean? Chris Froome would do attacks that would make your girlfriend ovulate. You know, just insane stuff, man. Look at that. And he's just alone now. Look at that. Contador is just in lactate world. Like that Super Mario secret stage, just drifting around the road. Dan Martin's coming up here looking like a man-anorexic Lance Armstrong. They had similar physiques, but Dan Martin's about 15 kilos lighter. And this is Richie Porte here, BMC. So this is 2015, isn't it? 2016. This is when Richie has changed over. He's defaulted the BMC, which is now with Trek. And it is sad to see Richie Porte forced to ride a disc brake bike. But as a pro, you don't really have no choice. You know, you got to do what the team says. I get that. So just, you know, and it'll be fair when everyone's on disc brake bikes, but right now it's unfair because Team Sky have the advantage with rim brakes. They have the advantage. They got the strongest team, the strongest GC riders, and they have the rim brake advantage. So once everyone's on disc brakes, then someone will win a Tour de France with disc brakes. People say, see, Harley, disc brakes are good enough to win the Tour de France. I'm like, well, no one's got an option now. Industry says this is how it is. So this is Dan Martin on his SL5 tarmac. Not a bad bike, Chinese made. Chris Froome up the front. Look, I understand how Chris Froome, this is how good Chris Froome is. He looks down. Push out some watts when you're looking down. Try push out watts when you're looking down. It's very, 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 very tough. Cuts your breathing off. Got Simon Yates. Simon Yates coming to Richie's Port. Come on, mate. Come on, little Tassie Devil. You're getting the Tassie Devil on the front to pull a turn, you Tassie Devil. And, you know, look at this. Like, Richie's got the aero advantage, right? Richie's way more aero. You know, he's just got that perfect cycling physique. You know, he's just aero, man. He's lightweight, he's aero. And Chris Froome's hanging in the wind like a praying mantis on a windy day on a bougainvillea bush. And Richie Porte's just like aero, man. Aero. Look at these guys at the back. They're skinny, they're rolling green. Just skinny dudes. Is that Nibali? And this is the whole race up here. And Richie Porte's sort of out on the absolute limit. And Chris Froome's just spinning at the back. Flipped him through. Not that he was getting much of a draft anyway, but maybe enough to save 8 to 10, 9 watts. And the guys back here trying to chase, and they're in a world of hurt. Now, understand, this is how good Chris Froome is, and this is how good, Richie Porte was and is, that the fact that they've attacked and stayed up the road. That's one thing to be able to just ride the pace at the back of the bunch, but to attack and hold the gap without blowing up, now that's talent. That's fitness. That's next level. And they've done that. They've gone over the top. Big risks on the descent. Look at that. Just like going for it and gapping Richie Porte. Richie Porte's a handy descender. So he's put 2 bike lengths on Richie Porte. Richie Porte's had to, on the gas, close the gap. And look at that. And these guys got an advantage. 3 on 1. Yates sitting on the back there. Not much you can really do in this sort of section. Now Contour's like, come on, pull a turn. And they're like, nah, we're just cooked. That's the level that Chris Froome and Richie Porte are at, man. These guys are cooked. They're not even pulling turns. They're in a big bunch. They're so cooked. Last K to go. 1K to go. You want to see Chris Froome. Look at that washing machine gear starts up. The spin dry cycle's going up. Look at that. Zzz. This is the daily express wash. Chris Froome's got 2 minutes to the finish, to hanging out on the jersey. He's washing his yellow jersey. Look at that. He's got the yellow jersey in the spin wash, and he's washing it on the high 100 RPM on the climb. And Richie Porte is now in his Wollonga legs phase, where he's just on the rivet, giving it everything, out the saddle, just boom. There, Richie Porte's going full gas now. That's his posture. That's his attack. And Chris Froome, look at this. Chris Froome's like going to go on the inside. He's going to trim some grass hedges, and look at that on the inside. This is the moves that makes girls ovulate who are watching this stuff. Look at the gap. He's gapping Richie Porte. He's gapping Richie Porte. Now Richie Porte's on it. He couldn't even hold the wheel to close the gap. And that's not me to throw shade at Richie Porte. That's just going to show you how next level Chris Froome is. Aero disadvantage. And look at that. Just Richie Porte's just like, oh man, I'm just done. And Chris Froome takes it away. So that was really a good display there of just both of the riders' potentials there. Richie Porte, Chris Froome, teammates for many, rivals in this race. Bit of tactics going on there, bit of schoolboy antics going on there. But yeah, I think Chris Froome going to Israeli startup, it's going to be good for Factor. It's going to be good for Israeli. They've probably got some big backers over there, big money. And that's cool. That's, it's business, it's CEOs, it's marketing. But I think for the sport of cycling, personally, I would say it loses a bit of sentimentalities, where Chris Froome's losing that Team Sky stripe down his back, and he's moving to the new team with disc brakes. So it's the end of an era. Chris Froome will never win the Tour de France ever again, being with a team like that. Not that they're a bad team. I'm just saying that once you leave the Sky train, you're, there's something, there's X factor there, isn't there? There's X factor there, especially going off a disc brake. So it's like you leave the Sky train and you go to heavy bikes, then that's like 3, 2, 1 GC results, RIP, unfortunately. That's the deal. That's the wrap up. End of an era. Chris Froome, thanks for all the entertainment and the good memories and the cadence and the carbs and the beta fuel. Sucrose, fructose for the win. But yeah, that's the deal there. Anyway, signing off. Chris Froome, end of Team Sky. Wow. Not all the good things last, do they?